Mamelodi Sundowns are the champions. Final whistle is gone here at East London. Another convincing win. And Miguel Cardoso can celebrate a first league title in South African football. It was never really in doubt, but it is now confirmed. Sundowns the champions for the 24-25 season and for the 8th campaign in a row. It really has been total dominance.
Dominance personified as Cardoso takes it in with a prayer. They've been excellent. They've been thorough. Their depth came to the party. Their quality came to the party. And it is celebrations all around. A deserved championship for the champions. The captain celebrates. Chippa United came to the races. They never made it easy for Sundowns, but it is the elite Sundowns that walk away with the 3 points and sum up the 2024-2025 Betway Premiership as deserved champions.
Good morning, everybody. We are back. Hey, Indotane Olahleka. Umsheke is back. And then we are doing a nice show today, Mamelodi Sundowns. What a nice one, because Shakes is from Mamelodi Sundowns, a former player, and he's a fan of Mamelodi Sundowns. It would be nice to talk about what you want to talk about. My name is the Saubrey Boyz Walefatshe. I'm joined by Shakes Manqoba Shakes. Shakes, Rakaufela. Greet the viewers.
It's good to be back after a while. And yeah, looking forward to talking about Sundowns ahead of this crucial encounter.
Yeah, we need to win this one, Mshishi. Yes. It's the North against the South. And guess what? Egypt and Mzansi. So that's a very nice one. So we need to win this one. And then, I'm a little bit worried. Before I can allow Thabiso to greet, what would be your best wish, to start at home or finish at home? Mshishi?
Sure. It's for me, Prasobri, I think it's better to finish at home, with that crowd at home, knowing that if you win, you are celebrating at home. But nevertheless, it's football, and if the roll of the dice says you must finish it away from home, it's also can be an advantage to start at home, because you do the business at home, and then you know what you need to do away from home to finish it, especially with Sundowns, because they are so good at managing the game away from home after getting a result at home, But in this instance, it's going to be tough because we didn't get the victory that we wanted, and we're going to have to get it away from home. But I still have belief in the boys, because I actually prefer them away from home when they play. I think they're very experienced playing away from home. And yeah, they won't have that hostile crowd that they usually have when they are playing in Egypt, because Pyramids is fairly a new team with lesser supporters, so it's not a full house. So I think the boys still stand a chance, to win this final and put that seconds down the jersey. So yeah, I've got faith that if they can come with the right tactics, Prasobri, because I believe that that our tactics let us down in the first leg.
We'll talk about that. That's one thing I want to look at. I'm hearing rumors, and I'm not sure how true is that the chairman was not so happy with the fact that Tembazwane was not included. That's a rumor, eh? I'm not sure about that. Thabiki, welcome and greet the viewers. Remo, Sisonke, the beat goes on. What's happening?
Thank you very much, Mr. Shabalala. Good morning to you and the viewers and Shakes. Welcome back. Long time, long see. But however, Slangene namhlanje, and then yeah, congratulations to making it to the finals of the Champions League. And I hope you bring it home. Yeah. Thank you.
All right, Thabiki, last week myself and Pete were looking at Mamelodi Sundowns. Okay? Allegedly, they've spent about 320 million in buying players. All right? And then sponsors contribute 620 million. And then for them to qualify for the Champions League, I mean for the World Cup, they've they've already acquired 1 billion rand. That's what we are being told. So that's the money well spent for Sundowns. And then now we're arguing that Chiefs and Pirates can afford that. So maybe they should look at that and say Sundowns is spending so much money in building the team, and then look at the reward. Because in business, when you break even, then we have done well. But if your income is more than your expenditure, that's the ideal situation. All right. So maybe it wasn't bad. Even during the time of Mshishi, Sundowns was paying well. But I also hear rumors of players who played for Sundowns who said Chiefs is paying better than Sundowns. I don't know how true is that. Mshishi, do you know that?
I don't know. I don't know, Saubrey, what the salary bracket at Kaizer Chiefs is. You know, I know recently, yes, there are players like Abu Kamapiliat who left Sundowns to go to Chiefs because of the good salary they were going to get at Chiefs, but they left as free agents. You know, so. I think that's one thing that Chiefs offers when you leave as a free agent and they really want you. They break the bank to give you the salary that you want. But I think in general, I think Sundowns, when it comes to salaries, I think they're the leaders in South Africa. I think Patrice has set the mark in how players need to be treated. You know, that's why you see all the good players coming to Sundowns. You know, and Saubrey, this conquering Africa started when we were there already. You know, the mandate was set straight that Sundowns need to be the biggest team in Africa. You know, so it's no surprise to see what's happening now with Sundowns being involved in the CAF Champions League final and also playing in the Club World Cup and also winning that other trophy. What is it? The Super Cup, the Super League. You know, so yeah, a lot of money was spent, but we're beginning to see the return of investment. You know, from all those monies that have been spent. You know, and Saubrey, you know, football. You need to spend in order for the team to be successful. You need to spend a lot of money, and yes, the return of investment must come, but it takes a while. But we are already seeing Sundowns now playing in competitions where just to qualify, you're getting $1 billion. So it shows now the return of investment. And also, when you look at the European teams and when they want players in Africa, Sundowns has to be amongst the first teams they think about when they think about acquiring players from Africa, because Sundowns have put themselves now on the map in world football, you know. And that's the whole point. That's why Patrice did this, because he wants teams from Europe to pay the right prices for players in Africa. And yeah, when you are the best in Africa, then that already tells you that when you want a player, you will pay the right price, not just because the player wants to play in Europe, but also so that the team can benefit. So players like Cabo Ribeiro, they will be showcasing themselves in the Club World Cup, and big teams will want them, and that's also going to be a return of investment.
Oh, that's fine, Shega. I hear that. But I also heard Libese. You know Libese? Libese said Chiefs offered him more than what Sundowns gave him. And then he even regret why he decided to go to Sundowns. He said what made him to go to Sundowns is because he was home in the bench at Kaizer Chiefs. And then he regret that decision. So I'm not sure. And I think even the boy from Thabiso, what's his name again, also said that. Who went to Amazulu?
George Malulega.
George Malulega. Apparently, so I'm not sure about that. Whether
Prasobria, but you know, when you're a footballer, you want to win things, Prasobria, and the Pizzo once said, if you want to win things, you come to Sundowns, you know, because Sundowns is winning things. And if I can just take it back to when I was playing at Sundowns, you know, you hardly touched your salary because you are winning so many games and you are getting so many bonuses, you know, so you hardly even touch your salary. So when you look at also that factor that Sundowns plays in these big tournaments and they are winning, they are getting, there's a bonus structure as well, which you can end up not even touching your salary, you know, with the rates these boys are winning in. I can tell you the bonuses covered them without the salary. Yes, the salary is important to have a salary that you know you're going to get month end, but those bonuses, you know, performance bonuses are big with Sundowns, and the boys have done well, so I'm sure they are well set.
Okay, Thabiki, what's your take? Sundowns, what's your take? These are the rumors that we get that Chiefs is paying more than Mamelodi Sundowns, but Mshishi is from there. He knows what's happening there. And then, is it worth it for teams to invest in players or invest in their teams? Let me not say only players. I don't know what you have seen. Even the support that came to support Mamelodi Sundowns, the last game, the crowd was very, very, very satisfactory. They didn't fill up the entire stadium, but the crowd was very good. And that's what we have been crying for. And remember, Dr. Patrici doesn't only end by giving the players, at some point he says to the fans, come for free, give them transport and so on. That's part of investment. Well, Chiefs on its own, it has that aura, it has that it's attraction, Thabiki. So what's your take? Is this thing good for the bosses to invest? Like Mshishi is saying, you look at Real Madrid, they spend a lot of money, but you know, we know what's happening with Madrid. The first day when they introduce the player, they make their money. Not necessarily the entire money, but the first day when they introduce the players, things that just go haywire. Shirts are selling like, you know, hot cake and so on. You talk of Man United, you talk of Barcelona, you talk of Inter Miami now with Messi surpassing so many teams with, you know, jersey sales, not even the entire squad same, but only one player. And I think that's what Madrid also did with Mbappe. What's your take? Should the team spend enough in order to reward more? As we are using Sundowns now, Sundowns have given you what they've spent, and now we are seeing the results. Like Mshishi said, right during their time, they were told they need to dominate Africa.
Okay. For me, for me, it's I'm just going to put it plain and simple. It's simple. If you are a team owner, let's say you are Kaizer Motaung, Ivan Khoza, Petrus Motsepe, it's simple. All you have to do is just invest in good quality players, and then everything. When you start winning trophies, obviously the stadiums will be filled, the sponsors will be coming in, you'll be able to play in Africa. Maybe if you win a Champions League, you go to what you call Club World Cup, and then that's how your money returns. You understand? So for me, it's important to invest in good quality players that will win you trophies. So apparently, Kaizer Chiefs is not doing that currently. They have good quality players, but not at the standard of Sundowns, and it shows the difference in the players they have. You know, so For me, it's important to invest in good quality players. Like you said, also with the supporters, sometimes just give them free shirts, when they come to the stadium, they'll also, the supporters like that, like getting that kind of attention. So, yes, I'm all up for that, for investing in your team. But then first you have to start with the players, because players, they're the ones who will fill up the stadiums. When you play good football as a team, you entertain the fans will come to the stadium, and then, you start winning trophies, and then go to play in these big tournaments, and then obviously you get sponsors, you get noticed outside Africa, and then, money starts coming back to you. Thank you.
So it's worth it to spend money so that you can get money coming back.
Yes. For me, start with the players. Play nice football like Sundowns are doing now. They're bringing good players. If I can tell you, this season I've watched Orlando Pirates and Sundowns more than my team. So it shows that they're playing good football. They're playing good quality football. So we have to invest in good players.
I know Msheke likes Barcelona. If they say Barcelona is coming here, Lamine Yamal will be here. You can imagine how many people will want to go and see this youngster who has shocked the whole world at his age 17. He has won so many. He has won many titles. Even Messi did not win at that age. But that statement that I'm saying doesn't mean he's at Messi's level, because Messi at that age was a monster. But in terms of what he won, everybody, I'm sure Sitle, does Sitle knows Lamine Yamal?
No, of course he knows Lamine. Of course he knows Lamine Yamal. Saubrey is always terrorizing his team, which is Real Madrid.
Yeah, he knows. Now, that's it, because you build a brand, a team is a brand on its own, and the team builds brands within the team. Your Mshege during their time, your Doc Kumalo during their time. Do you understand what I'm saying? People come because of those elements. Hey, I want to see Mshege. Asha Spy 2 and all that. I want to come and see Mdogis. Asha Yinifula Vala and so on. Those kind of things. So those are elements that bring the fans, to the stadium to say, no, we want to go and see. But I think Mamelodi Sundowns is on the right track, and then they need to be congratulated. But let's go to what you call tactics. Mshage, if I were you, and then I want to, let's say, if I were you, what would be your starting 11? What would be your starting 11?
Oh.
if you were the coach, what would be your starting 11? In this game, it's a very good game. Remember, I said there is a rumor that what is it? Chairman of Mamelodi Sundowns wasn't happy with the squad. Mshishi, the fact that Mshishi was not playing. What will be your 11, Mshishi? As you were saying, tactics, you said it also, that the tactics were not. So what will be your tactic now going into this game?
Yeah, Prasob, let me just say, looking back at the previous game, I had no problem with the back four. Obviously we all have our different preferences on the players, and it's tough as a coach, because if you had to ask all the Mamelodi Sundowns supporters their starting lineup, I'm 100% sure it's not going to be the same. So yes, we might all complain about the lineup and say maybe the lineup should have been like this or like this, but I think there wasn't much wrong, and with the wrong that we saw, he quickly also fixed that, because we were being stretched in the middle of the park. The likes of your Alande were not as fluent as usual, because Pyramids was pressing us and they were dominating us in the midfield, which is unlike Sundowns to be dominated at home in the midfield, and to be pressed at home and not to be able to play, their free flow play. So, but he changed that up and brought in Jaden. which was good. I thought that was a good tactic, and he did it nice and early. But I think the mistake he made was taking off Matthews, because Matthews was giving them problems, with his pace. I think when he put on Jaden, he should have taken out Sales rather, because yes, Sales has got a job that he does, but it takes him a while to get into the game. And I thought in this game as well, it took him a long time to get into the game. So I think he was the one to be substituted in that first half. And then when we scored, after we scored, in a game like this, when we scored and we are under pressure because Pyramid is coming at us, even though we were playing at home, Pyramid was coming at us. They were not like your Al Ahly who sit back and say, no, we're going to win the game at home. No, they were coming. They wanted to win the game at Loftus, So I think it was important for us to put in a player who's going to put their foot on the ball, and give us control of the game, and we have that such player for games like this, like Themba Zwane, to put his foot on the ball and give us control of the game. Unfortunately, the coach seems like he doesn't have much faith in him, or he doesn't want to use him at this present moment. But he was the player. That was the disappointing part for me, because we've got a player like him who can put his foot on the ball and give us control of the game. And that would have raised that crowd that loved us, and given us the advantage, because that 12th man needs a player like Themba Zwane to put his foot on the ball, and then they just go crazy, because everybody loves Mshishi, no Sundowns without Mshishi, and I think that's one thing Cardoso has not realized at this present moment. So I think going into this game in the final, he really needs to understand that at some stage he needs to put on Themba Zwane to give us control of the game, give us control of that midfield. He's a player that can create something out of nothing, and just release the pressure a little bit from the likes of your Ribeiro, who obviously Pyramid know about him and they're planning against him, So I think a Themba Zwane would be a surprise for them, to come in and give us control there in the midfield. I think we can create something. I think now it's crunch time. There's no other game, I think now is the time to put Mshishi in to do the business for us away from.
So in other words, Mshege, you are joining the legion of people who are saying why Themba was not playing.
Definitely.
And then who would you substitute? Ribeiro, as I listen to you.
No. I'm saying, Prasobri, it will release a bit of pressure from Ribeiro if Themba is on the field, And I think it will even give Ribeiro more space, because now Ribeiro is very tightly marked, because they know his prowess, they know what he can do, but he can't be the only one on the field, So with Themba Zwane on the field, it will give him Ribeiro more room to be able to cause more damage. So I would definitely leave Sales on the bench and go with Themba Zwane, or maybe not start with Themba Zwane, Prasobri, because we know he's coming back from an injury, but immediately, maybe second half, depending on how the game is going, you need Mshishi to come on the field, I think he's good enough to play 45 minutes.
Okay. Thabiki, what's your take? You would definitely feel that Themba was supposed to be there, because I want Mshege to give me his starting 11, so that I see his starting 11, and then and then you also give me your starting 11.
Okay. So for me, I also didn't have a problem with the back four. The problem started when I thought he replaced Matthews. Also, I thought maybe Zwane was coming in to try and put pressure on on the Pyramids team. But then I was surprised when he put on Adams also, and then I thought maybe Mshishi will come in the second half to try and manage the game for them, and then that thing never happened. So for me, that was a problem also, because I knew I thought maybe he was saving Zwane, even the game before for the Pyramids in the first leg, he didn't play Zwane. I thought maybe he's also saving him for the final, but then the final is there, you don't play him. I don't know when he's going to play him, because this is a game where Batlang Themba Zwane. That's game for Themba Zwane because we know against North African teams, yeah, he's very dangerous when he plays against those teams. He does not like them actually. So for me, also another problem with me with Mamelodi Sundowns, I defend balls that are thrown into their into their box, or
The word
maybe let me
like
just
is
say
too harsh.
techniques.
The word that he doesn't like them is too harsh.
Oh,
Maybe he's on form when he plays with them.
apology.
Because some people will take it literal
Yeah,
that he hates
yeah,
them. Yeah. You say?
yeah. So so ano- so another thing, Sundown failing to defend against square balls when Pyramids was putting balls, throwing balls into their box, and then even set pieces. So I don't know what was actually happening there. I don't know, maybe they were scared or something, because I know Sundowns to be a good team when they defend, but I don't know what actually happened over the weekend. They should work on that as guys and talk amongst themselves, maybe pick players, or maybe know how, maybe try a strategy where they can mark or they can defend set pieces, because I think that was their downfall on Saturday.
You
Thank
know
you.
what? Cardoso made a comment. Just a minute. I don't know whether you can see what I've shared. I hope you see it. This is a statement in normal condition, which I get it from the social media. I don't. Can you see that one?
Yeah.
Yeah. It says in normal condition we will be champions. In abnormal condition we will also be champions. That's a quotation from Cardoso. So I don't know. To be fair with you, I also got worried why Themba was not playing. In fact, I understand that Themba was from injury, but I would have expected the games prior to the final, he would have played Themba. And I didn't see him playing. I don't know whether Mshege, did you notice that?
Yeah, I did, Prasobri, and against Chipa, Cardoso told us that when they were training the day before, they realized that the field was very bad, and they don't want to risk Mshishi on a bad field like that. So that is why he was not in the team at all, whereas we were expecting that, coming to the final, you want to give Mshishi more time so that he gets that match fitness. But that was the excuse he gave us, and yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure now on Saturday what his excuse would have been, because that was the game that really needed Themba Zwane to put his foot on the ground. We're playing against the Pyramid. That really surprised, because they didn't come here to defend. They came at Sundowns, So, with the Themba Zwane on the ball, he creates spaces, he creates so many spaces just by his movement. And I think it's somebody who would have been able to create a lot of space for the likes of your Ribeiro, to punish. Another player I think we need on the day, when Reyners is playing together with Shalulile, they become more of better players when they're playing together, because Reyners is able to make those runs and create space for Shalulile in the box. So I see that Cardoso is not a fan of playing them together. He wants to play the one and sacrifice the other. I think there's a lot of sacrifices that are made in the team for Sales. That's one thing that I've realized, that there's a lot of sacrifices that are made for Sales, and Sales he's like that pot that is taking too long to cook. It's like the Nabi cook, the navigator type of cook. It's taking a bit of a while to to get warm, But I see that the coach has a lot of faith in him.
Nabi will fight you, man. I saw him fighting the journalist and say, guys, you must explain to the fans. And I couldn't understand that statement. The fans should defend him. In other words, they must explain what he's doing. No, the fans are just relating what they see or what they interpret. So you cannot say you must explain to the fans. I don't think that statement was appropriate as far as I'm concerned. There's no need of a journalist defending him. He must defend himself in terms of the work that he does. So, yeah. So, Mshege, your starting 11 would be?
So yeah, my starting 11, I wouldn't change that back four, Prasobri, even though I have a lot of faith in the young boy Khoza, and I believe every time he's on the field, the defense is assured, you know. But yeah, the coach has decided to go a lot with experience, and I don't think I would change anything at this present moment in that back four. So yes, I would have Mudau, who's ever reliable. I think is the best player in this Champions League. You know, I think he's definitely the best right back. I'd have him there. Mudau, Grant Kekana, Libusa is the two center defense. Modiba on the left back, you know, and I would have your Alande in the middle. And Kekane and Jaden Adams would be the one I would start with rather than to start with Sales. So I would start with Jaden Adams and I would have Tashrik Matthews because we need the width and Matthews will give us that width and it will give us the pace we need maybe on the counter attack, you know. He showed his pace already in the first leg, you know. So I would have your Matthews on the field. I would rather sacrifice Sales and I would have Reyners up front and Ribeiro. I think that's 11,
Okay. I think that is 11. And then Thabiki, what would be your
Williams
11?
obviously on goals.
Who on goals?
Okay.
Williams, of course. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Thabiki, what would be your 11?
Okay, for me also I would put Williams in post, and then on the right back it's going to be on the center it's center defense. I'll put Grant Kekana and Libusa, and then left is Modiba, and then on the right is I'll come back to him, and then let's go to the midfield. It's going to be Thabiso Ngwenya, and then I'll also put Alende there.
Shakes does not have Thabiso Ngwenya in his midfield.
I did. It's Alende and Ngwenya.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Alende and Ngwenya.
You cannot miss Ngwenya, eh? Yeah. Yes, Mche.
There in the middle of the park, I'd have Ngwenya and Alende, and then obviously on the left there I'll put Tashrik Matthews, and then bring Ribeiro on the right, and then there at the front I'll put Shalulile and Reyners. Yeah, I'd probably in the second half I'd pull off maybe Matthews or maybe Alende, or just to put Mshishi in. Yeah, just to put Mshishi in.
I saw this on the social media. Somebody was saying this is the 11 that they prefer. Can you see that 11? Reyners, Shaulile, Ribeiro, and Alende and Zwane. Can you see the Zwane factor? And then and Ngwenya, and then was this it's Lunga. My eyes are failing me. Can you see that, Thabiki, on your side? Yeah, I think it's Kekana,
yeah.
It's Mudau, it's Libusa here, and then I don't see this one. Is it Lunga? I don't know, Mshega, what do you think about this 11?
Yeah, I think this 11.
Mshega, Bosa Kuluma Guti, your starting 11. And now I'm gonna ask a direct question. Ideally, you would prefer Mshishi ahead of Salis. Mshega?
Yes, Prasos.
You would prefer Mshishi to come in and sacrifice Usalis.
Yeah, Prasobri. Ideally, I don't think Mshishi maybe might be ready to start. You know, I think it will be too much pressure on him. He just come back from a long-term injury, but he's definitely somebody who can control the game for us, coming in as a substitute. You know, I really believe after we scored in the first round, the first game. He should have been introduced because it's somebody who can put his foot on the ball and get us playing, and give us control of the game. So
check your pick. I don't know what happened. I go straight. Yeah. Yes, Msheke.
yeah, so I definitely would introduce him Mshishi at some stage in the game. Away, yeah.
This is an ideal 11. I see now because this person has put Zwane here. Who would you prefer here instead of Zwane? As you say, Zwane probably should come in as an impact player.
Yeah, I think I'd have Jaden Adams there, Brasoms.
Good. Okay. Now,
yeah.
You have said Mshishi, you are happy with this 11. Salis should not be the player the coach should start with. Now, apart from Shishi, do you have any other players whom you think will be an impact players?
Definitely, you have a lot of quality impact players that can come on. Tashrik Matthews, who already showed us his pace, that it can worry pyramids, So he's an impact player that can come on and give us width. And also Thapelo Morena can come on. He's done the business away from home. He's got that pace, and he's a right back who can score goals, who can be right there at the end of the box. Mudau gives you more assurance in the defensive side, but Thapelo, he can give you something going forward, Brasos.
Sorry, Mshege, there I think you have read my mind. I also feel that if you throw in Thapelo at some point, moreover, when these guys are tired, all right, throw in Thapelo because Thapelo's got space, and then you have Thapelo, you have Mudau, because both of them they have pace and they can do crosses. And then, to be honest with you, from my perspective, I was worried why Mshishi was not played. But now, also, something that worries me, because all of us are talking about Mshishi. Don't you think now this is going to create a problem? Because remember, football, it's a game of psychology. And now, Mshishi will be under pressure now that I have to perform. So if you are Cardoso, well, how would you manage this? Because I'm sure Cardoso has already picked up that people are talking about Mshishi. Why did not play Mshishi to manage the game?
Yeah. No, Brasobi, like I say, I wouldn't put him under pressure to start him in a game like this, as much as we needed him in the previous game, especially after we scored, to put the foot on the ball and give us control of the game. But it's not somebody I would start with. I think it would be unfair on him, to give him that much responsibility, also, him is not sure of his capacity right now after such a long injury, But he's a very smart player. He's a player who works hard, So I'm sure he can give us something. I remember when he came on against Magesi, they started buzzing, There was a time when they started buzzing, and you could see that this is the Sundowns, the Sundowns with Mshishi. So he's somebody who can definitely come in and give us a different element in the game at any stage. He's the club captain, and he can put the game on his shoulders.
Thabiki, who would be your impact player? Let's say you've got 11. I've just showed that this 11 that I saw on Facebook, which Mshishi is happy with that 11. And then, but Mshishi says here, instead of Zwane, at the beginning, he would start with Adams, and then later bring Mshishi as an impact player. And he also mentioned Morena as one of the players to be brought in as an impact player. And then I also agreed with him as far as that is concerned. And then about you. And if you have
okay.
For instance, if you have Mrena, Mudau, you have Shaulile who's running, because these people, and you have Mshishi who's going to put the ball on the ground. Remember, those guys are tall, and they were just hoping to get long balls and high balls. So now, if you get somebody who's going to slow them down, I think it would work for us. Thabiki?
Okay, thank you very much. For me, there in Zwane's position, I'd start with Matthews there, just like Cardoso began. You know, I'd start with Matthews, and then maybe in the second half, let me not say maybe in the second half, I'll definitely put Zwane there. But in the second half, I'll make sure that their defenders worry about Matthew's speed and skill. You know, I'll also make sure I'll also coach him to say, no, if they foul you, don't try and stand up. If they touch you, just fall on the floor, because obviously, if you've got a pace better than the defenders will obviously try and slow you down by fouling you. So I'd put him there, and then in the second half, I put Zwane to finish them off.
Guys, thank you so much for coming. Mshege, after a long time. Thank you, my brother. I really appreciate it. And I wish Kabuyelo wins, man. All of us are rooting for Kabuyelo. I know some people there, whether you're Thabiki, deep down, they don't wish Sundowns to win.
Why are you exposing me now?
But in true sense, let Sundowns win. I normally say people fail to understand that if Sundowns wins, remember they're going to the Club World Cup. If they win, then they will go to the next Club World Cup. Now, the name of South Africa and Mamelodi Sundowns and South African football will keep on buzzing on the ears of the people in the world. Remember, it's a CAF Champions League. Every country will be watching this game on television. So, you know, how did I know Rashidi Yekini, who was playing in Nigeria? It's because of this game, the CAF, and then the Champions League and the CAF. This is how people start knowing that, oh, there is this player, because you don't see their local. They don't see our local football. They concentrate on their local football. But tournaments of
Prasobri.
Yes, Mshege, you lost me.
Yeah, not only that, Prasobri. Also, you know, by Sundowns doing well in this competition, you know, it gives South African teams are going to have more slots. It's going to give more slots for them in the Champions League. So if you look at the bigger picture, about Chiefs, they should be supporting Sundowns to win this trophy, because it's going to allow for more slots for Champions League places and more teams from South Africa.
Kabuyelo, let's do the job. Thabiki, thank you so much. Much appreciated. And then have a very good day, Thabiki. Mshege, thanks for coming.
Thank you very much.
Have a very good way.
Thank you, Prasobs. Thabiki,
we'll
thanks.
Talk after the game, Mshege.
No, I've got faith in the boys. We're going to bring it back home.
Yeah, I know. And the other thing that I've noticed in the Sundowns, they manage these games whereby they go outside. Remember these people, they intimidate, they do this thing. But Sundowns has a skill now of dealing with that now. So, and that's it. Thank you so much. Much appreciated. Rekao fela Sisonke, Remoho, Rotle, Singwe, on Sesam. The beat goes on. Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm sure you are already in the year 2025, and then you are asking yourself, what are you going to do? Some of you have been working for many years, and then now you are contemplating of either resigning or going on retirement. And it looks scary. You're not sure what are you going to do, how are you going to survive? You're worried about your pension and so on and so on. Especially if you're a GPF member at the age of 55 and above, and you are in those situations. You are thinking, what's going to happen? Remember, the most important thing you need to think about how can you save the little that you have, in terms of how do you avoid penalties, because when you retire earlier than 60, you'll be penalized. How can you avoid that? Not to be penalized, not even a cent. You also want to make sure that you maximize in terms of the taxation. But get me right, tax applies to everyone. But you want to make sure that you are tax as little as you can. And you want to do all those things. You need somebody who's skilled, somebody who's trained to deal with finance, because tax avoidance is allowed. Because when you avoid tax, you use the tax law. Now, if you want to do that, to make sure that you save as much as you can, don't hesitate. Contact us, TBR Solution, or the Big R Financial Services, an authorized financial service provider. And then just say, please, I want you to assist me. I want to go out. So come and share knowledge with me. Now, no obligation. You don't have to make any obligation. Just listen to the facts. After listening to the facts, make a decision. You can listen to us, can listen to others, then so that you're exposed to various information, so that when you make a decision, it's an informed decision. Now, my name is the Saubrey Boyz Walefatshe from TBR Solution. Here I'm representing the Big R Financial Services, an authorized financial service provider. If you want to know how to get hold of us, just look at the WhatsApp number, drop us your contact via WhatsApp. We'll therefore come back to you. I thank you.